Alright, here's my 2003 Land Rover Discovery that I have for sale. I bought it in April specifically to make a run up to Alaska for 5 weeks. I bought it because I wanted to sleep in it, I wanted something four-wheel drive, and I wanted something small that had a lot of room in the back, and this is what I bought. It turned out to be absolutely perfect. Had a lot of little things wrong with it when I bought it, mostly some electrical issues. If you know anything about Land Rovers, they are kind of famous for having some electrical stuff, mainly Three Amigos, but I was able to find out what was wrong with it. It was just a shorted ground. I ran another ground to the frame, and everything's been good to go since then. Still got a good bit of tread left on the Nitto Terra Grappler ATs. They work pretty good. I really like this is my first full-time four-wheel drive vehicle. I wasn't real crazy about it at first because I've never owned one, but after being on all the wet roads and mountains and stuff out in Canada and Alaska, it's really was awesome. Comes with the ladder rack for the roof rack and everything. Full disclosure, about 2 weeks ago I was trail riding and backed into a little tree, slow speed, but I don't know if you can see this. It's just the skin on the bumper. The actual bumper is right here. You can see I found a replacement online. I think it was like 70 or 80 bucks in the skin, so that wouldn't be no big deal to fix. The interior, really good. These storage bins are awesome. They're nice and deep. I think they're as deep as this. Got a lot of stuff in there. For the trip, I built a sleeping platform back here that I'm gonna pass along to the new owner. But it came up to this height across the back, and what I did was I took this seat right here and folded it, or actually I removed the seat for the trip, and I took this seat and folded it forward. It flips forward, and I slept catty corner with my head back here and my feet kind of behind the driver's seat over there. As you can see, one of the reasons I like the Discovery is because it had that extended roof line up here, about another 6 inches of space, and it worked out really well. I was able to sit up and everything. I'm 6'1", 230, so got screens on the sunroof for ventilation when I was sleeping, kept the mosquitoes out. I built a little cover to cover that area and put my spare fuel cans and stuff on. It's got a Harman Kardon sound system in it. It's stock with the it came stock with the vehicle. It sounds really good. I didn't mess with that at all. I just put one of those cassette auxiliary deals in there for the trip. Plugged it into my iPhone, and it was good to go. Interior is all leather. It's all in really great shape. I mean, the previous owners took really good care of this thing. It must have been garage kept and stuff. I mean, everything is really good. It's got one little tear on the thing, and that's from the wear mark. I don't know if you can see that where my finger is. That's from getting in and out of the vehicle. But it comes with the rubber floor mats, OEM factory rubber floor mats, like the good stuff. Windows are tinted. Door, back seats. This thing flips up like that. Cup holder. It's got some little storage cargo net things up there. I mean, it's a 12-year-old vehicle with 120 something thousand miles on it. So if you go around it, you'll see some you know, little dents and dings and scratches and stuff like that. It's kind of par for the course for something this age. I'll just give you an example. I don't know if you can see where my finger is, but you know, stuff like that. I think there's another one right here on the hood. Right there. Right there. 4 auxiliary lights, HID lights. I didn't like the way they were. I took the rack off to clean when I came back from Alaska, and I just put the rack back on. I didn't like the way it was wired straight into the fuse box under the dash. So the wiring's right there. I haven't really figured out what I'm going to do with it yet. I'm going to try to rewire it tomorrow and make a nice switch for it and everything. The front bumper, the person I bought it from must have just kind of maybe painted over some rust spots on it. I don't know if you can see that rust right there. Right there. When I was on my trip, the bugs were bad, obviously, from driving to Alaska, and I went to pressure wash it one day, and some pieces of paint started flaking off. If I was going to keep it, I would remove this bumper and refinish it, just with some, you know, black spray paint. This little bracket right here, I can't get the screw to tighten anymore, but it's pretty solid. Got 2 hellas on the front. The lights really work well at night. I mean, it's all the bears and the elk and stuff and moose running out to the road on the trip. It really helped me out with that. But there she is. I'm even going to throw in the, I don't know if y'all can see that, but I'm going to throw in the shovel and axe on the roof rack. I also have, I don't know how it comes out in the picture, but these are kind of these little gaiters, boots, whatever you want to call them. They're kind of worn, looking a little shabby on that and on the around the high and low shifter. I bought the new ones. I just haven't replaced them yet. But let me see. Everything works. All the windows work. The AC works. Heater works. Sunroofs work. The mirrors work. You know, power everything. Let's see. One thing that I want to work on, if I was going to keep it, would be this windshield deal up here. There's a rubber trim that comes with it that's supposed to, they put this new windshield on it before I bought it, and you're supposed to put this little rubber seal on the windshield first, and then you put the windshield down and seal it. They didn't do that correctly, and the trim was kind of loose and flapping, so I had to remove it. And I filled in the gaps and everything with some windshield sealant. It doesn't look bad at all. But every once in a while, when it rains, when I'm driving it, I'll get a little light misting on the dashboard right here. So I'm pretty convinced. Well, when I going to Alaska, I figured that, you know, there's a high chance of you know, my windshield was going to get cracked and chipped on the way there and back, and lo and behold, the damn thing still looks good as new. I had no issues with that at all. So like I said, I was just going to replace the windshield and have that piece put in when I got back, but the windshield's still good. I just can't bring myself to destroy a perfectly good windshield. The misting, the water is not really that big of an issue, actually. Not big enough to go and destroy a windshield for. So it's got a few little scratches and dings, like I said, but it's an older vehicle. I mean, it's 12 years old, 13 years old at this point. One little spot that I don't like that I'd probably fix if I was keeping it, I don't know if you can see it real good in the picture, but right here, you can see the bracket for the roof rack, and I guess the water, the way it drips on that, if you're storing it outside, it's got a little bit of rust right here. I would sand that down and repaint it. I'm just not a very good painter, and again, wasn't that big a deal. This was something that I bought just to go on this one trip. I wasn't planning on keeping it. I will say this, the driver's position is pretty cramped. I'm 6'1", 235. I got a bad right knee that I've had multiple surgeries on, and that's probably the main reason I'm selling it, is because, you know, as a daily driver, I'm kind of cramped up in the front seat. I got the seat all the way back and the steering wheel all the way up, and the angle that my foot hits the throttle is just not good. So she runs great. Had a few little things that some people, you know, did the head gaskets on it already, which is kind of a famous thing that's wrong with these things, but they replaced all that stuff. All that's good to go. But they hooked up a couple of connectors backwards that was causing the exhaust to go back through the secondary air intake pipes, and the solenoids with reversed switches. So I pulled the connectors out and actually put them back the correct way, and then everything's fine. It's got a V8. It's pretty strong. Got a lot of torque in it. You know, it's nothing like my Tundra over there with the 5.7 in it, but this little 4.6 works pretty good, moving this thing around, especially slow speeds on the trails and stuff like that. You know, it would tow a small boat and small trailer and stuff like that pretty good, but you're not gonna win any races going up any mountains or anything like that. There's a little dent right there. I think there's a little something right there. But other than that, man, as far as Discovery 2s go, I challenge anybody to find one that's in good as condition as this thing and has all the common problems sorted out, and not only sorted out, but they're permanently fixed long term. The M&S, the manual sport mode, limp mode feet thing that happens to a lot of people on these things. I've taken the XYZ switch off of the transmission and rebuilt it and cleaned it and fixed it. I found out what the problem was, and I repaired that, put it all back together. Haven't had a problem since. Like I said, the Three Amigos, I dealt with that. You know, it's good to go. Ready for somebody else to take it on their own trip somewhere. If y'all have any questions, give me a holler. I'd be more than happy to provide any more additional pictures of anything in particular, or, you know, whatever information that you might want on it. And I'm also pretty flexible about you know, meeting up and stuff like that. I day trade the stock market, so I can pretty much go and meet almost any time. Give me a call if you're interested. Thank y'all.